Welcome back to the Football Moments YouTube channel, you shithousers. Now you may be wondering, hey, Mr. Football Moments, why the extensive Law & Order bit to open up the video? Well, that's because there was a missing person at Old Trafford this season that the Special Victims Unit needs to investigate. I picked this Law & Order theme because I just laid witness to an entire season of criminal defending happening in plain sight. The Premier League was turned into a crime scene. Not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but... Wait, how many times actually did Harry Maguire commit felonious acts this season? So to answer that question of the day, today on the Football Moments YouTube channel, we are going to be going federal as we become judge, jury, and executioner as we review in depth and in length Harrison Maguire's entire season. Because surely it couldn't have been as bad as everyone else makes it out to be, right? Now in the top right corner, we are going to have something that I like to call the Maguire tracker. And as we progress through this video, we will be keeping a tally of all of his major mistakes throughout the season. So keep one eye on the video, one eye on the tracker, and both eyes on clicking that subscribe button. I mean, seriously guys, look at this. Almost 97% of my watch time is from people not subscribed. Come on guys, I gotta feed my kids out here. Also, leaving a like and a comment would go really far to help bump this video up in the YouTube algorithm. So just comment random gibberish down below, I don't even care what, just juice the video. Maybe even share it with your favorite streamer or other YouTuber to react to. And subscribing is free. It's not like it's gonna cost you 80 million to be a detriment to... Before we get into it, I want to take some time to say, don't launch abuse towards Maguire online, or I guess in person either. I'm just a guy on the internet making a video, and clearly this is a video that all of you guys want to see. I mean, just look at the results to all of my polls. Anyways, me making one video is different than a lot of people adding him on Twitter or doing insane things like sending him death threats and bomb threats. I don't think I need to say this, but just don't do this, please. Just subscribe to the Football Moments YouTube channel instead, you goofballs. And with that out of the way, let's start off fresh with the first game of the season. At the start of the year, many were hoping that coming off of a good Euro performance, and with the signing of a professional like Rafael Varane, and with a bunch of excitement around the signing of Ronaldo and Sancho, along with finishing second last year, many were slating this United team to challenge for the title, as after, yeah, the title charge was over by Christmas. But it got off to a good start with a 5-1 victory over Leeds, and despite some bad giveaways against Southampton and Villa, and the loss in the first match day of the Champions League against the Young Boys, Adam Johnson's favorite club, the wheels didn't begin to really fall off for Maguire until the match at Leicester. Not only was he partially responsible for this weak giveaway, but he lost his man on not 1, but 2 set pieces, not to mention stepping off of Vardy on this finish, which gave him the space to blast it into the net. This game highlighted the worst aspects of his game, which, as his form continued to drop over the course of the season with the pressure of the armband only mounting, it only got worse. And that bad aspect of his game is awareness. If this was a game of Football Manager, Maguire would have negative awareness. I don't think it can go below 0, but he'd be able to make it do so. I think a while ago on Twitter there was some tweet about how Kevin De Bruyne looks around the field X number of times before he even receives a pass, that way he knows where everything is. I can't remember what it was, just some scientists doing some science thing or something, and I'd be curious to see what their stats were on Harry Maguire, because I swear to God, this guy does nothing but ball watch, ever. That's why he's always so surprised when people run in behind. It's just, he doesn't know what's going on around him. And this makes him look as lost as a kid at a shopping mall. He just panics instead of picking his head up to survey what's around him. He never knows where he is. He's basically playing in the dark. This individual performance against Leicester was the start of his death spiral this season. It was so bad that it made me start going back to church again. Why? Because only through divine intervention was it possible for me to rehabilitate my eyes after watching his marking on these set pieces. And I'm not even a United fan. I got no clue how you guys do it. You guys deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for your patience, or you know, just something like that. Maybe a refund. 1 week later in the Premier League, Manchester United endured their most embarrassing loss in the Premier League era, getting bantered off the pitch 5-0 against Liverpool, as the away fans rang down in a chorus of Ollie at the wheel. Ollie at the wheel, at the wheel, Ollie! Even though this was a collapse from the team on a systematic level, Maguire was not without his individual errors, as he, for some reason, just unfortunately exists on the second goal to get in the way. And then on the third goal, seemingly does everything he can to not be in the way. The consistency of which he is never where he is supposed to be in big games is actually astounding. He has the positional awareness of a Catholic at a brothel. When he needs to get out of the way, he's in the way. When he needs to be in the way, he isn't quick enough to react. You know that classic joke about how your refrigerator is running, so you better go get it? Yeah, this fridge is not running, and if it was, no one would go chasing after it to get it back. And after this 5-0 battering, we had the moments where I think the United fans really turned on Maguire this season. Sure, there were frustrations from last season with a few bad errors, but it wasn't until this infamous post-game interview where the friction with the supports became untenable, creating a pressure that would only fester and worsen as the season went on. The Leicester game was a landmark for performance, and this post-game interview was a landmark for leadership.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, apologies to the fans. It's nowhere near good enough for this club. We're all disappointed. We spoke in the dressing room. Obviously, I'm here because I have to be here. Obviously, I'm here because I have to be here. Obviously, I'm here because I have to be here.
The captain, the captain of your club should never be doing interviews saying, yeah, I don't want to be here. I don't want to accept responsibility for the disaster that just happened, but I have to be here, so pity me. I think maybe in his head he thought that this was somehow showing his dissatisfaction with the performance, but instead it just comes off as if he thinks there's something better that he would rather be doing. And thus, rightfully so, the support for the captain of Manchester United was gone in this moment. A week later in the Champions League, not only does he play Zapata on sides in this instance, but instead of getting back into position, he first raises his arm turning towards the linesman, then takes a poor recovery angle, and because of this, fails to put in a tackle or even get a body on Zapata to put him off well. This recovery angle was the most obtuse thing I have seen on an English team since Higuain was at Chelsea. Okay, bad joke, I know. Higuain wasn't even really that bad. He was the most well-rounded striker in the Premier League. Okay, I'm actually done. I'm actually done now. I'm done. Ah, man, I'm getting canceled. This defensive performance in the Champions League versus Atalanta was so bad that it made me start using drugs again. Not only the failed offsides trap, but this terrible recovery angle, my dude. I mean, this made me start my own recovery in terms of rehabilitation. There is some good news, though, because at least he wasn't at fault for any goals in Man United's embarrassing 2-0 defeat to City. So he was able to stay out of the headlines for a few days. At this point, some of you may be thinking that I've been going in a little too hard on Harrison. But to be honest, and I think if you were to ask United fans this, they would agree. But in general, I think I'm being pretty charitable. You could say he could have cleared this ball against City, and there's tons of other mistakes that I just don't remember or couldn't find. So at any point, if you think I'm being too mean, if you think I'm being a bully, if I'm bullying Maguire, trust me, I'm being conservative with some of the things that I'm counting as major mistakes. Anyways, though, during the international break after the City game, the footballing world laid witness to the infamous goal celebration versus Albania.
Puts his hand to his ears, he's like shutting the critics up, but I think that's embarrassing. He's been a disgrace the last few months for Man United. He thinks he scores, then he's going to shut his critics up. Embarrassing.
The reaction here in England's been absolutely like what an utter tool.
But you look at it now, you think you don't need to do that because you've got a lot of football to play.
As I mentioned, United captain, of course I'm going to get criticism when the team isn't doing well. I fully expect this, but it wasn't directed at anyone.
Embarrassing.
Oh, my bad. Good to know that the celebration where you put your hand to your ear saying, "I can't hear you," wasn't directed at anyone. Thanks for correcting everyone on that. Now, I know many of the jokes have been pretty brutal in this video so far. And don't worry, they get even worse. But I'm gonna be honest, in writing the script, I did realize something, and I had to ask myself a critical question. At what point did I start to feel bad for him? The answer for me is after he scored this goal against Albania, because it was in this moment I realized just how far off Harrison Maguire's expectations were in comparison to the rest rest of the Manchester United fan base. This is a club that, despite their troubles in recent years, were winning trophies before and even after Sir Alex. But for Lord Maguire to act like scoring a goal versus a bunch of farmers answers the critics made me realize that he did not understand the depth of what was expected of him as the Manchester United captain. And for me, it was the final nail in the coffin for him ever possibly leading this team to large success. Now, the reason this is where I started to feel bad for him was because it's not all his fault. Sure, he has to be held to a higher standard, and rightfully so, but he just never should have been made captain in the first place. And this season, he should have been given weeks off to clear his head back in January, but instead, he just kept getting thrown on out there to the wolves time after time as his form got worse and worse. Maybe in another universe where he didn't have the responsibility of the armband weighing him down, this all could have been different. Anyways, the first game back after the international break was the infamous Watford game, as United lost 4-1, which is up there with some of the worst results of the season. Sure, it's not 4-0 to Brighton, or getting embarrassed by City, or 5-0 to Liverpool. Oh my god, they really got clapped this year. But this was after an international break, against a relegation side, and most importantly, resulted in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting sacked. You would think that with the manager's job on the line, you know, the guy who gave you the captain's armband, you would show some heart and character and put in a big performance for him. But not only was the defending abysmal, I mean guys, what is Maguire doing here on this second goal? Who is he defending? The crowd in the front row? But some of his giveaways in this match were so criminal, they could have got him locked away in Alcatraz. However, just 2-1 down, still having a chance to get back into the game, Lord Maguire capped off his performance with one final giveaway into a late tackle while on a yellow card true combo to receive a well-deserved red card and put the game out of reach to sack the manager who gave him the captain's armband. The pure comedy of these few seconds is ridiculous. While editing, I actually just played this on loop for a solid minute or so, just watching it over and over. It's like a car crash. You just can't bring yourself to look away from, even though you know what's gonna happen the whole time. As a manager, you just kind of have to suspect that your job is in jeopardy whenever the people in the broadcast booth are deciding to show the scoreboard as a dramatic shot. And thus, Harrison Maguireson went on his best run of form in the Premier League all season, spending a couple weeks without making a single mistake in a match. Sure, that's because he was suspended and not playing, but hey, you gotta take your wins where you can get them, you know? Maguire actually did decently in his return, as it coincided with Ralph Rangnick coming into the team. However, the new manager bounce can only last so long, as against Newcastle, Alan St. Maximin made him look like a paper plate trying to stop a speeding bullet, and against Burnley, he got done in by a 35-year-old Aaron Lennon. I was gonna make a joke here about Maguire having to come to the MLS as a retirement league a bit early in his career, but after watching this clip, I don't think he'd even cut it here in the States. Have you ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption? It's a classic, one of my favorites. To summarize, an innocent man is accused of murder and has to serve decades in prison while knowing he is innocent, all the while trying to stay mentally tough, as his physical and mental facilities are pushed to their absolute limits. Yeah, that's what I imagine being a Manchester United fan is like. Y'all been through the gutter, man. I hope it doesn't come across like I'm making fun of you guys or taking the piss out of your team. Trust me, I'm empathizing with you guys. This was brutal. Hashtag Glazers out. Anyways, in the second match against Burnley, Harry Maguire did something that no other defender has been able to do this season, and that's make Wout Weghorst look like goddamn Lionel Messi. Man United thought they were buying a Rolls Royce, but really got a Tootsie Roll. I think I'll cut that one. That was not a good joke, huh? Those clips were against Burnley, mind you, but now we have reached crunch time in the season. All of the mistakes in the first half of the year could be forgiven if Manchester United showed up for a Champions League run. So let's take a look at how Maguire fared in the knockout stages against Atletico Madrid. In the ties against Atleti, Not only does he allow Joao Felix to score a header, but instead of using his head to defend, he uses it to hit Ronaldo instead. Guys, this isn't for real, is it? What is this? Some kind of social experiment? Lord Maguire is the only player I've ever seen that could make even a translator be at a loss for words. Sandwiched between the two Champions League games, Manchester United had a chance at redemption. Another shot at beating Manchester City so they could... who are we kidding? They didn't have a chance in this game. I think this was actually the first time I ever covered Harry Maguire on this channel. I made my channel only a few months ago. And I'm going to say now what I said back then. Harry Maguire is the only defender I have ever seen that makes a better window than a door. He could have stopped potentially 3 of these goals, but he just reacts at the speed of a car with only 3 wheels on it. Speaking tactically, because of his lack of awareness, his starting position is never really that good, but some players who don't have good starting positions are able to make up for it with their pace. But Harry Maguire does not have pace. If you don't have pace, you gotta have the positioning. If you don't have the positioning, you gotta have pace.
They gave up, and shame on them.
Mike is enjoying
Oh, and I almost forgot. After the City game, Lord Maguire scored an own goal against Tottenham. And he has Romero laugh in his face, dude. Oh my god, dude. This right here may be the lowest point of his season. It's honestly a lame move from Romero, but I mean, who are we to judge? We've been laughing at Maguire for like the past 10 minutes. More than anything, I'm just curious to see what Maguire's OXG is. But someone's gotta say it. Harry Maguire running around the pitch for 90 minutes looks more lost than Messi's taxes. Then in the next few games, we got some more epic Harinium Maguinium moments. As against Everton, he again reacted slow and was responsible for not blocking this shot effectively, doing everything in his part to keep Everton up. What a good guy. How charitable. And in this game, he even showed us why he was picked as captain for Manchester United, as he called for a handball against his own team. Now we all know why he's captain. It's for his honesty. The game after this against Norwich, he again completely forgot what being a defender means. Okay, I'm editing right now. I don't know how I didn't make a bigger deal of this the first time I wrote the script, but look at how far away he gets dragged. He would have followed this runner if he ran all the way back to Hull. Just why get dragged that far, man? Why? But at least in this game, he showed that he's willing to get really physical. When the going gets tough, Maguire steps up. He even drew blood in this game. The only problem was, he drew it against his own player. I love how pissed Pogba gets after this. I think it was in this exact moment that he decided he was going to get hurt against Liverpool and never play for the club again. Also in this game, De Gea decided that he was never going to pass to Maguire again. De Gea literally ignored giving the ball to a wide open Maguire after making the calculation in this moment that putting it out for a throw would be less of a threat to his goal than passing the ball to Harrison Maguireson.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
And then there's the game at Anfield. Now, I don't want to go too in-depth for this. I already made a video doing that, which I'll have linked up top in a card for you guys right now. And if you've made it this far in this video on whatever degenerate Harry Maguire hate binge watch session that you're on, then I promise you that you will enjoy watching that video if you haven't seen it already. It's actually one of my masterpieces. Anyways, enough wanking myself off. For this Liverpool game, all I want to say is that this performance was a nightmare of biblical proportions. Remember how earlier in this video, I said his performances were so bad that it made me go back to church? Yeah, well, this game made me lose my faith again. And if you think the performance was bad, the context makes it even worse. As in an interview before the game, he came out saying this.
But I wouldn't be playing every game for Manchester United in the starting 11 if I'd been playing bad every game or not playing well enough. There's a reason why both managers have put me in the starting 11 every game.
Imagine going into work, talking about how you shouldn't be chastised by your boss because you actually do your job well, and then having to get sent home early because you shat in your pants. This incident for me just continued to highlight what I had pointed out whenever he celebrated against Albania. He is way out of his depth as a captain, hardly understands the scrutiny that he's naturally slated to receive, no less accepts responsibility for it, and never should have been given the armband in the first place with this mentality. society. Giving Maguire the armband is like giving a prepubescent teen the responsibility of doing your taxes. Actually, wait, no, bad analogy. A teen could probably do a better job. Anyways, after this match, Maguire suffered an injury and got to watch on as United lost to Arsenal. He didn't really play much the rest of the season, but it says a lot that Maguire's biggest accomplishment this year, arguably, was coming on as a sub to stop the bleeding during Brighton's epic stat padding of Manchester United. But after starting the bleeding on Pogba's ear, let's just consider it all square on that front. In the end, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but I do realize that these kinds of videos are a sort of catharsis for you guys who are. You have had to watch your club get taken over by self-interested venture capitalists taking money out of the club. They've run it into the ground while running it like their own personal bank. And then you have them appointing accountants to make football decisions, those people appointing Ollie as the head coach, and then before you know it, you get Harrison Maguireson as your captain. This all as a cascading effect from their flawed leadership. You guys deserve better, and while I can't give you that, the least I can do is give you a laugh from time to time after all of the pain and suffering that you guys have had to endure. And for everyone else, let's just enjoy laughing our asses off at this complete shit show and enjoy the free entertainment for as long as it lasts. Thank you guys so much for watching the video today. As always, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe. I make videos on football topics every single day, and if you made it to the end of the video, clearly you liked the video. So subscribe, that way you don't miss the next one. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day today, and peace out, guys. Take it easy.